This is Yuta Tono, and his high school experience is pretty much cooked. Our boy didn't just lose faith in girls, he declared full psychological warfare against estrogen. It's not because he's built like a basement incel by choice, but because every time a girl showed him interest, it came with a side quest to deliver her love letter to his gigachad older brother. Bro's been used as a stepping stool so often his back has a loyalty card. He swore on his left nut that he'd never catch feelings again after getting hit with the classic not you your brother combo move. That shit left his soul on life support. But then, she shows up. She throws a good morning at him like it's a charm spell with 100% accuracy. Our boy tries to ghost her, but she keeps spamming that greeting like she bound it to a macro. Now Yuta's sanity meter is already in the red. She tells him she couldn't hear his reply, and our boy combusts on the spot. He slams the good morning button like it owes him money, hoping she'll finally shut the hell up and leave him alone. She drops another good morning and gives him a look so smug, it might as well be a war crime. And our boy's heart hits a cardio session. Now he's clenching every muscle he's got, trying not to let his wangdoodle peek out the command center in broad daylight. Yuta knows exactly who she is. Her name is Izumi. She is in the same class as him. Everyone treats her like she's the final boss of the cuteness genre. And of course, she's rumored to be the one true destined pairing for his ultra-rizzed third-year older brother. Bro is already mentally preparing the cuck speedrun, but mid-coping session, she turns around and look at him. With no warning, no setup, and no lube nor protection, she just hits him raw with the question, "What bread you like?" Bro wasn't even fully conscious yet, and she leans in so close that her perfume probably just altered his DNA. Bro is just standing there bricked up and barely gasps out melon bread. Then her friend jumps in and suggests him to hit up the cafeteria. Izumi agrees, and they just leave in perfect sync, like two CIA agents who just completed a successful MK Ultra trial. And just like that, the next thing he knows he is holding the very melon bread like he got mind broken by them. Later, in the PE class, Izumi is out there hooping with her jersey riding up just enough to activate unholy thoughts, while the sweat glistens on her like she's been photoshopped by the gods. One of Yuta's friends says the obvious, that Izumi is hot as hell, and asks if Yuta agrees. His friend continues to yap about Izumi. Apparently, she's not just cute. She's also built like a GPA nuclear warhead, and wrapped in that quiet girl with mysterious aura starter pack that makes every horny loser think they're the chosen one to fix her with their meat sword. Then she picks up a basketball and dribbles it like she's trying to extort it for child support. And despite looking like she's trying to do Black Air Force activity in PE class, she's still waving for a pass like she's Steph Curry reincarnated. She shoots her shot, and naturally, it misses like a sniper with Parkinson's. But somehow she's still throwing a victory pose like she just carried the team. And Yuta's friend starts losing his mind over how adorable she is, and he immediately clocks that our boy's eyes were definitely glued to her cheeks, like he's been starved for ass for 6 years. Izumi wipes her sweat, and she laser focuses on our boy, and hits him with a smirk so predatory it should come with a legal disclaimer. That's the look of a girl who already knows your browser history, and still thinks you're worth pegging. And the boys freezes like their soul just alt-tabbed from reality. After school, our boy is still tweaking. Like what in the absolute ass was that basketball arc even supposed to be? He's losing brain cells trying to figure out what her game is. But then he realizes something. Despite he thinks that she's into his ultra-chad tier brother like every other girl, Izumi has never once brought his brother up. Not even a sniff. And that's when the forbidden seed of hopium takes root in his heart. That maybe she's actually into him. But the simulation doesn't let him cook for long, because some NPC girl just spotted his brother. He turns around and immediately gets his balls punched by reality wearing brass knuckles. There she is, the girl he thought was different. The girl he thought might actually have looked at him like a human being and not a discount delivery app to his brother's rod. But nope, she's handing his older brother a notebook, like it's a peace offering to the dick god. Our boy starts glitching in real time. The last 24 hours of emotional progress just got nuked into oblivion. Izumi could have been running school errands by the teachers, but his trust issues makes him confirms that she's one of them. And then the infantry of hormonal girls stampeding down the hallway like Black Friday just dropped half-off dildos. They shove our boy into the floor like he's the loading screen between them and his brother's sausage stand. Bro hits the tiles, and trauma kicks in so hard you can hear a flashback theme song. He remembers every time girls gave him a crumb of attention. They actually didn't want him. They wanted front-row tickets to his brother's dick orchestra. He peels himself off the ground like a broken action figure and mentally deletes the concept of love from his dictionary. His brain is ready to migrate to 4chan, and his soul is about to install adblock for emotions. But just as the incel transformation sequence is about to hit 100% completion, someone squats down and breaks the animation. It's her. It's Izumi, reaching out with a handkerchief. While every other girls are busy swarming his brother like he's got free Robux, Izumi just parks herself next to our emotionally constipated protagonist and drops him a handkerchief. And our boy is completely flabbergasted, staring at her like she just pulled her boobs out. He asks her the only thing his 2 remaining brain cells can cough up. Why is she not chasing after his GigaChad brother who literally breathes in Riz? She looks at the harem mosh pit that is full of daddy issuers, then calmly turns back to him like that whole orgy doesn't even register on her radar. And she simply just say that 'cause she have found him. And that's all there is to it, like a Pokemon choosing its trainer based on aura. She urges him to use her handkerchief, and he's there trembling like she just handed him a pair of used panties soaked in perfume, and all he can mumble is a thank you. And then, she gives him the kind of smirk that makes you uninstall Tinder because no other woman will ever pull that face at you again. She's squatting like a delinquent queen, half-turn, cheeks slightly puffed, and her expression dialed straight to, I own you now. Izumi then gets up and tells him to make sure he returns her handkerchief later, because apparently that crusty little square of cloth is her damn Excalibur. Now any sane man would see the flashing signs, but our boy's trauma turns his brain into a neutron star. Bro is so dense, he thinks she's just another woman trying to get his brother's number. Now our boy starts losing his shit. He's grabbing his head and swearing he'll never let a woman play him again, as if that boner isn't already testifying against him in court. The next day, Yuta manages to drag himself back to class, only to get hit with a full-page magical girl transformation from Izumi. She's got sunflowers blooming around her, like she just unlocked her ultimate ability, and welcoming him back like they didn't just meet 2 days ago. But our boy's been burned too many times to fall for the sparkle bullshit. He clocks her in his seat and tells her to take her dump truck elsewhere. But instead of moving like a normal human being, she slides halfway off the chair and offers him a double-cheek sandwich, telling him to just sit in the same seat. Izumi is straight up inviting him to an ass-to-ass summoning ritual, and he's not built for that level of contact. He screams like he's about to get cursed, and she finally moves, though she looks kinda sad because she didn't get to rub cheeks with him. In class, she's glowing with main heroine energy, and all the dudes are foaming at the mouth, while our boy is sitting there with his incel goggles on, thinking everything she's done has been an elaborate plan to unlock the door to his brother's meat castle. He's trying to focus, when out of nowhere she phases in behind him like a ninja. He turns around, only for her friend to tag in and casually drop the announcement of a surprise math quiz. Now our boy realizes he's about to get his GPA clapped harder than her cheeks during PE. And sure enough, he bombs the test like Hiroshima and got a dog shit 5 out of 50. And that makeup test tomorrow's already swinging the belt to whoop his ass round 2. His friends drop their scores and immediately start roasting him, blaming his L on flirting with Izumi when he should have been studying. After school, while the boys hit the arcade, he's got to go home and try to squeeze some brain juice out of the 2 IQ points he's got left. He thought switching up the vibes might cure his academic brain rot, so he drags his sorry ass to the library. But the second he stares down at that math sheet, his neurons start throwing a white flag. Bro's got the math equations open like it's some cursed rune from a dead civilization. Before he can start giving up, a voice absolutely claps his ego with, "You made a mistake." It's Izumi, and he can't believe that she is actually using the library. The girl who looks like she belongs in a Shibuya cafe shotgunning matcha lattes for clout. And yet here she is, haunting our boy's library like it's her personal bat cave. And just when he thinks shit can't get more complicated, she pulls out a light novel with a title so long, it's legally a short story. He's reading the title, and it's literally just his life written out in bold font. Before he can cope, she glides in next to him with zero hesitation. Our boy panics like she just sat on his lap. But no, she's not here for flirting. She's here to remind him that his notebook's been on a hunger strike and hasn't eaten a single drop of ink. He then remembers that his friend told him that Izumi is actually a damn genius. Somehow, Izumi just yanks out his test paper. She sees his score and it's so bad it might actually be a cry for help written in numbers. He yells at her for the violation of privacy, but the library's silence grabs his nuts and puts them in a chokehold, so all that comes out is a little whisper, asking how she did. And she whips out a perfect 50, like she's flashing a diamond-encrusted middle finger. She keeps shoving her paper in his face like it's a wanted poster for how dumb he is. Our boy's ego is now bruised, battered, and bleeding on the floor, so when she offers to tutor him, it doesn't even sound like a favor. It's an order. He accepts, because frankly, when a girl radiates that much "let me teach you" aura, you don't say no unless you're suicidal. What follows is an intense study session that feels more like a forced lobotomy. Izumi proceeds to jackhammer mathematical knowledge directly into his skull, and despite his brain's best efforts to reject that knowledge, his sheer desperation to not be a complete failure allows him to absorb it. When he's finally done, he glances at the clock and feels like a shit ton of time has passed, even though it's only 5 p.m. Then he turns around and sees Izumi, bathed in that golden hour lighting like God took a side job as a manga artist. Her hair glows, her eyes sparkle, and our boy's brain short-circuits so hard you can hear the Windows error sound. He wants to ask her to check his answers, but she looks so deep in her book that it's like she's astral projecting. He decides to wait, only for her to say she finished reading ages ago and is just looping the same book like it's her comfort hentai. Our boy's 2 brain cells finally touch tips and spark a miracle. The whole time she was just pretending to read just to stay by his side. And just like that, he starts to think that maybe she's not thirsting for his gigachad brother after all. Maybe that she wants his low-level, underdeveloped, barely E-ranked meat saber. Hope starts to surge in his bloodstream like a Red Bull IV drip. And before he can even process, she slides in closer. She leans in like she's about to whisper forbidden knowledge straight into his spinal cord. And what she says next nukes the entire server. Correct. It's not just an answer check, it's an whole-ass validation. The smirk she wears has enough horny damage to qualify as a status effect. His brain can't keep up. It detonates into a fluffy mushroom cloud of dumbass energy, and he sits there like a corrupted PNG file. Izumi then casually reads a text from her mom and logs out of the session like she didn't just commit an emotional war crime. Although the result is undeniable, and next day our boy drops a perfect score on that makeup test. On a quiet evening, Yuta is found shopping in a mid-tier supermarket. He's just trying to buy some cabbage, but inflation's got those priced like luxury goods. Bro looks at the tag and starts mentally calculating how many organs he'd have to sell for soup tonight. But then, a hand swoops in to get a cabbage, and he hears a familiar voice. And that hand belongs to none other than Izumi. Because of course it is. God forbid this man gets one peaceful errand without the rom-com RNG shoving plot into his face. Izumi is not wearing her usual uniform, and that already throws Yuta off like a man seeing color for the first time. She's wearing that casual coat and skirt combo like she's about to teach his soul a lesson in fashion-based arousal, and he's seconds away from becoming a sticky situation in the supermarket. But then, he gets derailed by her shopping basket, which is basically a war crime against nutrition when she buys a shitload of snacks. Bro is so confused that he asks what's even on her shopping list. She flashes the paper and it clearly says hot pot ingredients. Meanwhile, her basket looks like she's preparing for a Netflix binge session. Yuta then hits her with the disappointed Asian dad energy, tells her she's got her damn priorities backward. She tries to defend herself by saying her parents let her buy snacks, but bro ain't having it. He flips the switch and orders her to return the junk, like he's about to start a house husband arc right there in the middle of the store. She spins back at him with that bratty little pout, and bro barely blinks before she's already waddling her tight ass over to the ice cream like it's got fentanyl leaking out of the freezer vents. So he has the intercept her detour and begging for the shopping list. And the next thing you know, he's stuck guiding her through groceries like a bottom-tier husband simulator, all while trying to keep his sanity and his half-chub under control. They finally hit the checkout, and she thanks him like he's some wholesome husband material, while sneakily flexing that she scored extra snacks behind his back. She walks off, and bro stands there post-nut confused, realizing he somehow got suckered into doing wife duties for her. And right when he starts processing the L he just took, an old lady spawns in and just raw dogs his soul with a question about whether that girl was his girlfriend. He malfunctions on the spot in trying to stutter out a defense, but the old lady says they looked like they were having fun, and that one word slices through our boy's psyche like a katana made of PTSD. Because he has never once seen Izumi smile, let alone laugh. So now he's getting haunted by the image of her laughing for his brother, the gigachad, the god-tier panty dropper she probably sends double texts to. And now the trauma climax hits, because once upon a time, our boy thought he was living a rom-com with a girl who actually liked him. They had laughs, they had eye contact, they had shared shit and giggles together. But then he overheard her behind the scenes. She was telling her friend that she was just farming him for XP so she could climb up to his brother. He realizes he just played himself again. No dates, no love, no respect, just a glorified shopping assistant with blue balls and coupons. He walks out of the supermarket and coping to himself that he at least saved some money. But right now, it's pissing rain like the gods just busted a nut across the whole city, and she's out there raw without umbrella, like she's begging for a tragic backstory. Meanwhile, our boy is pretending like he's just some NPC walking home. He turns away like a sunder bitch, but not even 2 seconds later, his simp leg muscles override his survival instincts and walk him straight to Izumi. He says something about catching a cold, but bro is just bricked up just being near her aura. She stares at him with those soulless hentai eyes, and just when he thinks he's safe, that she'll take the umbrella and go, she pulls the nastiest Uno reverse in rom-com history. She doesn't take the umbrella, she takes him with her. Now they are walking side by side, and Yuta starts spiraling about how most girls would have hit the brakes the second a guy offered to share an umbrella, but not her. She's walking right next to him. He's so deep in his thoughts that his legs forget how to walk in a straight line. His shoulder brushes against her, and bro's about to start apologizing for existing. But then she hits him with the kind of smile that makes your balls forget gravity. She says it's fine, and the way she says it, bro nearly folds like wet cardboard. There's not enough room for both of us, she says. And he wants to scream that the real issue is there's not enough blood in his entire body to keep both heads operational right now. While walking next to her, he is still convinced that Izumi is just farming kindness points to unlock his older brother. Bro thinks she's out here like a VTuber pretending to like her fans, while hating every second of it. And then, Truck-kun is spotted barreling down the street, locked and loaded with that rainwater, and that sloshing street ejaculation is about to turn our couple into soaked hentai thumbnails. But our boy sees it, and he throws himself into the danger like a sacrificial meat rag. And then she just hits him with reality that he wouldn't have had to eat the entire Japan's gutter water if he had just used the damn umbrella in the beginning. Bro's standing there with his balls shriveled and soaked, while she casually drops logic like she's not the reason he just got baptized by Roadnut. But he tries the umbrella back up with all the confidence of a guy who just pissed himself and said it was fashion. He tries to act smooth like he's got it under control. But what he really does is soaking both of them in one final climax. Now they are both dripping. He looks at her, and she looks at him. Then she cracks out a full-on laugh. She's giggling like she just watched him nut himself on stream. He doesn't know it yet, but that was the first time he actually saw her laugh. But all our boy can do is mutter an apology, like he just jizzed in her shampoo bottle and felt bad about it afterwards. She leans in with her wet hair glistening and says it's all good, and thanks him for protecting her. And just like that, the sky clears up like God couldn't bear to cockblock this scene any longer. Our boy glances up and realizes that Izumi is the type of girl who laughs at shit that makes no sense. They begin to part ways, and Izumi drops the final line of the chapter like a goddamn bomb. She tells him to better hurry home, unless he want to catch a cold. Just a soft, caring line like that makes his balls retreat back into his body cavity. And our boy is left frozen. He wipes his face with the sleeve she touched earlier, and realizes that she's someone he needs to watch out for, but also the one he'd still probably let ruin his life.